Hi everyone, our video blog this week is about park revitalization. We're revitalizing a park in Vanier called Riverain Park. We hosted a consultation earlier this week. It went really well. We got great feedback. We'll give you a few of the highlights. We're also meeting with Paul Landry, who's the director of park planning. I want to hear from him. What does it take to revitalize a park? What are the process and what to expect coming into the spring? So let's begin. I'm with Paul. Let's begin by locating you as to where Riverain Park is located. It's an amazing parcel of land that begins at Montreal Road. It's in Vanier. It extends south of Donald, but really we're looking at the part north of Donald. So south of Donald would be considered Overbrook. And then on the other side, we're at the Rideau River. On the other side with the brand new Adaway Bridge. Right. On the other side is Strathcona Park, which is in Senio. So now that we've located ourselves, Paul, let's talk about some of the existing amenities that are in the park.
In that park, we have a couple of long-standing baseball diamonds.
Very well used for tournaments, especially.
Absolutely. Existing children's play area, which is there. A basketball court, which is currently up in the north end of the park. And then down in the south end of the park, we have some tennis courts and some existing
the horseshoe
pits.
That's right.
And that's kind of the basic amenities. And the pathway system, there's kind of an existing pathway that runs along the river. And
a lot of runners. It's interesting that you've said
commuters,
there's a lot
runners.
It's well used.
And there's a couple of connecting pathways from the parking lot, which is somewhat central to the park, and connecting from that to the river pathway. And that's kind of it for the pathway system. And the last piece we did forgot, there is a kind of an existing, we'll call it an informal dog park, which is kind of sitting in the two outfields of the ball diamonds.
So there's about 11 new initiatives that are coming in. That's what we consulted on this week. It's a project that began, I want to say, last summer that we're now really getting excited about because there's some money and we have plans. So let's talk about some of the amenities that we're proposing for this park.
Let's start in the north end, where we have the existing pad for the basketball court, which we're going to be relocating and rebuilding in the south end. We're looking at putting a skateboard park in that, using that pad, perhaps improving it, and then putting various elements.
And as we redo parks, and we've redone at Smith Park, we've redone Jules Marin Park in the area, every time there's skate park discussions that come up, skate parks aren't ideal everywhere, but I think in Riverain Park it's certainly a good spot.
You need the appropriate location where there's room and space and less disturbance for people, and that's a great location for it. Next, we're looking at putting in a full-size splash pad, which I think is another big need and ask in the community.
And what's interesting is because of its proximity to Strathcona Park, which has a wading pool.
Correct.
On one side of the river you'll have the wading pool accessible through the Adaway, and on the other you'll have the splash pad.
That's right. And the beauty of the splash pad is that it's open much longer season, doesn't require supervision or lifeguards, and
different.
A lot different. And then we're looking at the existing play area here. My understanding is that we're looking at sort of reorienting some of the materials, adding some swings, bringing it up to current standards, and improving it all around. So
kids' play area are always very popular.
Absolutely.
As much as we can improve that.
And with the proximity of the splash pad and that's a good combination. So
I agree. We're doing general improvements to the baseball diamonds. Those are still being worked out. That'd be some of the seating area, some of the fencing, some of the grading in the park.
Some of that stuff is getting a little longer in the tooth and needs to be upgraded. So, and then one of the part of the things right now, you have your two outfield fences, and in between the two is kind of became a dog park because it has a sense of enclosure. So what we're looking to do is to actually complete that by enclosing it on the east end. That's right. Across, and then adding a leashing area. It's an active leashing area is kind of pretty standard where when you come in with your dog, you have a place to unleash them and then bring them in. It's kind of a calming in and out.
Number 5 is a new feature for the park. And that's the adult fitness equipment.
Which is, we're adding more and more of these to our parks now because there's a demand for, all ages, but primarily adult, where you can get out there as part of your run and stuff. Exercise.
And because of our proximity to the Rideau Sports Center, because of our proximity to the pathway system, where people are already utilizing it for fitness, I think it's a really neat amenity. Further down, so we have existing tennis courts. We're upgrading the surface there. We're renovating it.
And I'm guessing you're probably looking at colored. Well, we'll have to see
The materials.
The color
Yeah.
compounds, fencing, everything like that, but also adding, from what I understand, is adding some pickleball lines.
That's
so
right.
That we can now provide that whole other demographic.
More permanent.
Extremely popular. So yeah, so that's a really nice added feature.
And we're repositioning the horseshoe pit. We're modernizing it, so that's another element. We have 3 groups that rent
The pits right now.
the pits right now, and we want to expand that. And we're moving the basketball court from the north section of the park to the south section of the park, which is the more programmed
Yes.
space.
Kind of where your basically your court, we'll call it your court area, is down there, which is good because you have multiple age groups as well playing in here. So it also, and we'll be able to get it standardized full-size court, which I think would be much
Will be
more
really good.
attractive. Yeah.
If people are if people are interested, so we're in the comment period.
Yeah.
But at what point do we have to make a decision, and what are the sort of next steps going forward for this
Well,
project?
obviously, we're still receiving comments on the concept plan here.
Yep.
We are going to take another stage and take 3 of the elements and provide, going out to the community to look at options for each of them,
That's right.
which we'll be doing over the next couple of weeks.
Options for the play structure, for the splash pad, and for the adult fitness equipment.
Correct. So then, different models, colors, play elements, or whatever they are. So we give a little bit more choice in the community. So we'll get feedback on that. Once we've got that, we've got an idea where we're going, always looking at our budget, of course.
That's right.
We'll now start preparing more detailed designs based on the input we received and the options that were selected. And I think at that point, we'll come out with something with a little
More-
higher, a little lower level, or
Yeah.
more details. for
More
people to
details,
see.
yeah.
And you'll start to see alignments where we're going to put more tree planting, landscape details. That will all come out, maybe in the next 6 weeks or so.
Yes.
Just give our landscape
So in the
partner-
spring,
Yeah.
in the early spring.
Correct, and then once we have buy-in on that, we'll take more input on that, then we'll basically into production, working drawings. Tendering, contract documents, and trying to get out in the early summer with construction start probably later in the summer, fall, which is not a bad time. That's busy time of the year, so
Exactly.
we'll get working on. So the idea would be to work through until end of season, and then there might be some finishing up in the spring, and hopefully we have facilities ready next spring.
I know the
That would be
community is
ideal.
excited about it. We saw it at the consultation. It's not done, so if you're hearing our video blog, if you're interested in the park, please go on the website. You have the plans. At the bottom of the screen, you have the contacts for the planner in charge. So please send your feedback. This is the perfect time for it.
Absolutely.
Nothing's final. We have some ideas. We've gotten some feedback, and we want to see the renewal of the park. So if you're interested, if you're a resident of the area, please make sure you submit your comments.